So Caleb, tell me about yourself.
I'm winning.
Good.
I'm on top.
Good.
I'm on top of the world.
And why are you winning?
Because I'm not losing.
Good. Yeah. The ultimate success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure.
I'm fulfilled.
Have you heard that before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I heard that like last week on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Somewhere.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
From who?
Like Tony Robbins or someone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's his saying. That's like one of his most common sayings.
Oh no,
One of his
I'm
favorite
listening.
sayings.
I'm listening for the third time to Unleash the Power Within, his audiobook on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Mm,
I cried.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes.
Tony Robbins he's so good, man. Like,
And I was telling Katya's dad about it, and he was kind of like hesitant because a lot of people think Tony Robbins is like rah and
Mhm.
positive thinking.
mm,
But he said that Tony Robbins said, I don't believe in that positivity bullcrap.
mhm,
He said, I believe in intelligence.
mhm,
And a lot of people view reality not as it is, but worse than it is because they don't recognize their own potential.
mhm. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that he says that's like most of the stuff that he says is really practical stuff. It's not even really like woo woo stuff. It's basically like scientific. Everything he backs up with science or he backs up with data.
He said,
Like, there's nothing that he
yeah.
says that's kind of just like woo woo stuff. Shirt's like falling off.
That's okay. I put it to where the podcast is not made for kids, so you're free to
Okay.
let loose.
That's good.
But and then he doesn't just use neurolinguistic programming anymore.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. One of the most powerful things from Tony Robbins is he says the number one to changing yourself. He says all the time. The number one thing is realizing or becoming aware that being happy is a choice or being grateful is a choice. And you make that decision every single day that you wake up. You choose what you're going to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because he said, it doesn't matter how far you get in life, it doesn't matter how many billions of dollars you make, there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be things you don't have.
Yeah.
But your happiness depends upon your decision of what you're going to focus on, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, are you going to focus on what you have or what you don't have? Because there's always going to,
Right.
you're always going to have something. You're always
Yeah.
going to not have something.
Like Naval
Mhm.
says, desire is a contract you make with yourself
Mhm.
that you're not going to be happy until you get that thing.
Yeah.
When you desire something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. He like
Because happiness is progress, you know?
in
Because
progress.
you're only happy once you hit your goal for maybe at most 6 weeks. At most, that's a stretch. Probably for me, it'd probably be a week. Or for me, it's like an hour. But
I mean, we'll see when I hit a goal.
like every goal I've hit, I was literally happy for like an hour, and then I got like depressed for like the rest of the time. Not depressed, but just like,
Back to
is this
normal
it?
state.
Like, is this it? Like, because it's like the happiness comes from the progress. The happiness comes because that lasts for that could last for years and years and years. So it sustainably makes you happy. But once you hit your goal, it's the end, and it's just like, that's it. You know?
This is the end. Hold your breath.
This is the okay. You think the end of the world is happening soon?
I think the end is nigh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really.
Yeah. I mean, I had a dream that the rapture was happening, and I've seen a ton of YouTube videos of people talking about how they've had the same exact dreams.
Yeah.
And it says in the Bible that in the last days, the young men or something will have dreams and stuff,
Young men
and have
will
visions,
dream dreams, or the young men will have visions, and the old men will dream dreams.
Yeah, I guess I'm an old man.
Yeah, old soul.
Yeah.
Man, I was gonna say something. One last thing on Tony
No, you
Robbins.
weren't, bro.
Yeah, I was really. Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
Tony Reitinger. Remember? It's from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's crazy. Like,
Yeah, bro, I feel like Tony Robbins, like, there's so many people that are so, like, I wouldn't say better.
oh,
So many people
I
that are so
realized
good.
what I was going to say. It doesn't matter. Like, Tony Robbins is the last person I'm ever going to listen to.
Why?
Because I don't need to listen to people
Yeah.
anymore. Like, he said, it's crazy, bro. He said, like, the only reason that you're not changing what you need to change
Mhm.
is because you're not calling a spade a spade. Like, you're not calling it for what it is.
Yeah.
And the only reason you change is when change is a must.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you don't change, there's immediate, horrible, soul-crushing consequence.
Mhm.
But the reason we don't change is we soften
Mhm.
the position we're actually in.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you're not like fluffy, you're not like a little overweight, you're fat. And that really spoke to me.
No, but-
remember last podcast I was saying I needed to go to sleep earlier and
Mhm.
like wake up earlier.
Mhm. Haven't you?
Yeah.
What time did you wake up?
Today?
Mhm.
5:30.
What time did you go to bed?
9:45.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like $50,000.
Yeah.
And anytime I like feel like I don't want to like do something or whatever, I just take really deep breaths and then it's just like I'm
Yeah.
good. It's so weird.
Mhm.
It's like another thing that Mr. Robbins was saying
Yeah.
was you have to train yourself to be depressed. You have to spend time to get in the habit of depression because it's very specific. Like, you have to teach yourself to always be like taking shallow breaths to like slouch your posture.
Get depressed.
Yeah, like you train, like you get into a state of depression
Mm-hmm.
by just physiological things. You're kind of slumped over, you're like, and you're thinking negatively, and you learn that. Like, that builds
Yeah.
until you're like just depressed.
Mm-hmm.
But then you do that, and you think about positive things.
Yeah.
But the reason most people stay depressed, they try like to be positive, is because they're so in the habit of slipping back into that thing that when they try to be positive, or I've done this in the past where I try to like be positive or motivated, and it feels like I'm being fake because I'm so used to being in a different state. Not that I'm ever like
Yeah.
depressed or anything really, but you feel like it's not who you are. And so you feel like you're being fake, and then you just slip right back into who you think you are
Yeah. Yeah.
because of your like perception of yourself.
I don't watch the news because it's the same stuff happening to different people.
I don't watch the news.
Isn't that funny? The news is literally the same stuff happening to different people. But to expand on what you were saying though, it says in that book Good to Great. It's kind of like what Tony Robbins was explaining.
Uh-huh.
It says in that book Good to Great. You guys should read it. It says that the most successful CEOs, the ones like at the top of the top after top, like the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musks, the way they operate is they'll be extremely like brutally honest with the facts. They'll just look at like their situation and be like, okay, like what are the facts right now? Like how is my company performing right now? Like what are the stats? Like what are the facts? So they have that. They're brutally on. They're not going to ignore it with positive thinking. They're brutally honest. They're brutally honest, right, with themselves and with their company. But they also have unwavering faith. And unwavering faith with being brutally honest with yourself. I think those are the two most effective things as a CEO, as a leader, as just a human being. Because like you can't soften stuff. It's just going to make you weaker. You have to just look at it for what it is, and then have the faith that you're going to completely change it.
But I think a third thing is they have higher standards than everyone else. Like people who are high achievers or who are like, who are just in a better position, not just financially, but maybe their body or everything, they have a higher standard than other people have. And what I'm learning is nobody around you typically knows your full potential. They kind of accept how you are, and they're like happy for you because they should just be supportive and they're positive. So they're not like, you need to be better in a negative way, but like, I want to have a higher standard for myself than the people around me, because you have a better feel for what you're capable of typically, and other people are just going to wait to see what you do and they'll realize what you're capable of. But most like well-meaning people around you, like friends and family, they're cheering for you, but they probably don't believe that you're capable of what you're not showing until you prove. Because you know, deep down, like we all have a desire to be like outstanding in what we do, and
if you don't believe in yourself, why are other people going to believe in you?
But a good thing is you can believe in someone more than they believe in themselves, and that's contagious. Because like when I found you, for example, you were just like this kid, just like swimming through life and didn't really know what you were doing. And I said,
I knew exactly. I was going to become a professional soccer player, and I still am.
And I said, Ezra, I believe in you. I don't believe you can be a pro soccer player, but I believe in you in other ways. Like you can just be a salesman.
Right. And I was.
And you became exactly what I believed.
I became exactly what you did believe.
And so much more.
Okay, well, I just want to say one thing, because this is just like mind-blowing.
Just one thing and then we're done.
One thing and then we're shutting this thing off for good.
Over now.
So I was just like there's so many revelations and so much wisdom that come from just the word of God, from the Bible, and just like thinking about it and just like letting Jesus like just transform your mind. There's so much wisdom in that. And this podcast is called Wisdom, so I think it's really important to talk about this. But the wisest man ever, right, was Solomon, right? And
up until Jesus.
Because I've been reading a lot of books. There are some books that are good. They're more practical. Like practical stuff is good. Like how to like be a CEO, or how to, like business books that are kind of practical. Those are good. I'm not saying don't read those, but there are so many books out there that are just they're trying to be spiritual, but it kind of strays away from God and from the Bible. That's bullcrap. All that stuff is BS. Solomon was wise not because he read, and then I just kind of thought about this when I was reading the Bible, but Solomon became wise not from reading books, but from knowing God, because wisdom is knowing the truth, and the truth is Jesus. His I am the way, the truth, and the life. So Jesus is the truth. The way to become wise is to know the truth, which is Jesus. And that was just like, like it's like you don't have to read all these books and stress yourself out, because I would literally sweat sometimes reading books. And I don't know if it was because I felt like convicted about it, or if I was just like reading too much.
Like the temperature was kind of warm a lot of times in the room.
Maybe, I don't know. But it was just like so mind-blowing, because like there's so much striving for like wisdom, like with just people in general. There's so much like, I want to be wise, but like it's not something that you try to do, because as soon as you try to do something, it causes friction. You want to yield to it, and it's so much easier to just yield to wisdom when you just have a relationship with the truth. It's just like you can never stray away from the word. It's just it's everything.
The Bible says that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. It's in Proverbs. Because if you think about it, God,
it's just kind of funny that we named this like wisdom with a Z.
It was your idea. But I really think it's gonna catch on. If you think about it, if you fear God, it means that He's like the basis that you draw all of your conclusions from, and He's the creator of all living things. And so He's the creator of nature. He's the creator of the laws of physics. He's the creator of everything. He's the creator of people. So if you're starting from the foundation of like God is real and he created everything, it's so much easier to draw conclusions that are fruitful and real and true, because like wisdom's a byproduct of being like, okay, God, if God, then this must be true, and then this must be true on the basis of God. And even if you look at like our culture, like with money and the way people view like wealth and abundance and even just economics, a lot of people view it as like addition and subtraction. So if I have $20, I made $20, so I added money and then I spend it and subtract it. And the reality is not that way, because if you look at nature, it's all multiplication. You can't find addition and subtraction in nature. Everything that grows is grown by multiplication. Animals, they breed
Compound interest.
2, 4, 6, or 2, 4, 8. 8 times 8 is 64.
29.
Or 8 times 2, 16, 32,
42.
64. Everything grows by multiplication. Trees, they multiply, they don't add. Trees are. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of life.
Trees multiply, they don't add.
Trees know their times tables. No, trees. All of life grows by multiplication, but we think that like growth, like in our business or in our life, is gonna come by addition, and then we don't accept the fact that growth. And then we forget about momentum.
Oh man.
So that's where I'm at. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. That's good.
Yeah.
So good.
Bro. Anyways.
Oh, at least somebody was following you.
I hope that spoke to someone. The trees are gonna get that.
I hope that moved someone.
There's like some tree watching over someone's shoulder, the podcast, and they're like, yeah.
He's right.
But like trees, there's like, they'll like drop eggs.
Get it out.
There's like 100 trees will come from one tree. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's happening. I'm just so grateful to have a podcast.
Oh.
But yeah, and then like even just talking about multiplication just
Right.
like makes us joyful and laughing. Like,
Be fruitful and multiply.
yeah, he didn't say be fruitful and add a person.
Be fruitful and add.
He said be fruitful and multiply. So that should tell you something.
It's the hardest I've laughed in.
I know, bro. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so, and I feel like a lot of what we're trying to do is just like, we feel like, of course we're not getting ahead because we're trying to do stuff just by adding. It's funny now, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to add like $1,000. And that's
Gotta multiply 1,000.
That's why I put all my money in crypto, because it's gonna multiply, hopefully, or divide.
Or subtract.
No, there's no subtracting in crypto. It's just division and multiplication. But the problem is like, for example, one of the coins I invested a couple grand into, it divided it. It multiplied by 0, and so it went to. There's nothing left. The coin. Yeah, it's like 0.03 cents now.
Which one?
I can't say it. It's an inappropriate name. That's probably why it tanked.
Is it really?
Nah, kinda for Australians, I think. Yeah.
Freaking Australians.
But the rest should multiply. The rest of the money.
Sure. So where were we?
I don't even want to go back there. Yeah.
Man.
It's cool because you just want to you just want to be a part of stuff that's like always growing.
Mm-hmm. If you're not growing, you're dying.
And that's why, like, if you do a bad job in business and stuff, there's gonna be no word of mouth, and like 2 people won't tell 4.
Yeah.
However that math works. Yeah. You'll just like get a client, they'll be like happy enough to pay. And then you'll just have to get another client.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyways, what are we doing? What do you want to do?
There's so much to do. So much. I mean,
We just laugh for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh
man. Let's just sit here. Let's just be here.
Just be.
Let's just be now. And let's be nowhere else but here and now. So, God created us, right?
Right.
To create, commune, and connect with Him, right?
Right. And others.
Yeah, right. So, God created us to commune, connect,
And command.
to commune, connect, and to connect. And so it says in the Bible that God created us in His image. He created us in His likeness. So why would we not believe that our purpose is to create, commune, and connect with people? Because you could create all you want.
Mm-hmm.
You could connect all you want, but if you're not really communing, you're never going to be happy. Vice versa. You could commune and connect, but if you're not creating, you're not really going to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
Right? And like, nobody wants to be unfulfilled because it's unfulfilling, right? You're going to be miserable. You're going to be suffering.
Yeah.
There's a difference too between suffering and pain.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference.
Life promises pain, but it doesn't promise suffering.
Yeah.
Suffering is like a
Suffering is like
a
intentional.
mindset.
Yeah, suffering is a mindset.
It's how you perceive
Yeah.
pain that you're going.
Pain is not a bad thing. Pain is a
Right.
good thing in a lot of situations.
Like I really hurt my knee.
It's a catalyst to grow most of the time. Suffering is thinking that pain is not a catalyst to grow.
Right. Like pain can be a positive because we learn from it, we grow from it, and then we're tested by pain and it proves like who we are basically.
Yeah.
So that's why like if you're going through something painful
Mm-hmm.
and it like really shakes you and it causes you to stop growing, you're probably like receiving it in a really negative way.
Yeah.
Or just drawing the wrong conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like, you know how people like something will happen, not even a big deal. Like they'll like
Spill their milk.
they'll spill their milk and they'll be like, God, this is always happening to me, you know, like, or they'll look up and like at the sky and be like, God.
Or they'll be like,
Or they'll just be like,
or they'll be like, dang it.
yeah. Like today, Never mind. But yeah,
Like
instead of just
life
being like-
doesn't come at you; it comes from you. You know, like
Yeah.
you are experiencing life through your conscious mind.
Mhm.
So how can something come at you if you're the one experiencing it and you're the one making all your decisions?
Right. Also, to kind of compress what you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
to expand on it, and then to go a different place with it, I bet that's Elijah. No, some random person playing piano.
Probably.
But, yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, like it's just people like I don't think it's bad for people to just have a 9 to 5 and live normal lives or
Right.
whatever, as long as they're communing, creating, and connecting with God and people.
Yeah.
Because you can have such a fulfilled life if you're creating something, you're communing with people, you're connecting with God, connecting with people, creating with
Yeah.
God.
And
if
if
you're not
you're
doing
being-
that, it's just
If you're being excellent in what you do, you will be fulfilled because you'll be growing.
Yeah.
And like, was thinking about it this weekend and stuff because I was like a little bit stressed out about monetary stuff. And then I was realizing like the times that I'm stressed about it is when I'm not like taking action to like improve the situation.
Yeah.
And sometimes like on the weekend, for example, if I'm with my family, or like I was doing a job with my dad and I wasn't going to make any more money from that, but it needed to get finished. And so I kind of felt stressed out during it a little bit
Yeah.
when I was just thinking, because I was like, I'm not like making my situation better right now. But the job needed done. But you just have to like, the only reason I'm stressed out is when I'm not like confident in the fact that I'm going to do everything I can to like be faithful and improve the situation.
Yeah.
Because when I'm out working or like selling or doing something like that, I feel fine because I'm doing what I can.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing what I can and everything will work out.
Yeah.
But when you're not doing what you can and growing, you can't be confident that everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
That's when you're kind of like, I don't know if it's going to work out.
Yeah.
But usually it's because of like a lack of action. Another thing Mr. Tony Robbins says is we were lied to growing up and we were taught that intelligence is power. And he said intelligence is not power. Intelligence or knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is the potential for power. Action is power.
Yeah, that's good.
And then knowledge aids action. But if you're not taking action, you're just going to be like a closet philosopher. You're
Yeah.
just going to be like theorizing about everything, and then you're going to probably draw like not great conclusions because you're going to be kind of like pessimistic about everything. Because without movement, we die. Like without movement, our blood doesn't flow. Like our bodies deteriorate. Without movement, we don't move our businesses forward, and if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
And if you're dying, eventually you'll be dead.
Correct. Correct.
So,
Yeah, and I think God, like, it says, like, whatever you ask of me, I will give you. Ask and you will receive if you believe, right? It says that in the Bible. You will receive if you believe, right?
ask and you'll receive. Yeah, if your motive is aligned with God,
Yeah.
too, it says right after that. But yeah,
And so, like, I think God will always answer your prayers. I think He will always answer your prayers, no matter what it is. But, like, it obviously has to be aligning with His will, which His will is perfect and pleasing. There's a really good story in the Bible where I'm not sure exactly where the towns were, but he traveled from one town to another town, and the distance was 20 miles, right? And so he traveled to a town to go to Jesus because his son was dying. And so he traveled all the way to the town, and where Jesus was, and he said, Jesus, he was like, can you come back with me to my town and heal my son that's dying? And Jesus was like, no, I'm not going to come back with you to go heal your son.
Was it a woman?
What?
Was it a woman?
That traveled?
Uh-huh.
No. So he traveled all the way, but Jesus said, no, I'm not going to come back with you, but your son is healed. And so he was just like, so God didn't answer. His prayer was for Jesus to come. He asked Jesus, which is a prayer, essentially. He asked Jesus to come back with him to heal his son. And Jesus said, no, I'm not going to come back with you, but your son is healed. So he doesn't always answer your prayers exactly how you want them, but he'll do it in the right way. He'll do it in the perfect and pleasing way. Like, if your prayer could be like, Jesus, like, I want $1 million, right? He might not answer that prayer exactly, but his will trump that, which is even better. It's more perfect. It's more pleasing for you and for everyone else around you.
But also, like it says in the Bible, that God cannot be tempted, nor does he tempt.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, let's say you ask God for $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not faithful with the $3,000 that you have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just not faithful.
Mm-hmm.
You're not generous. You worship it because you're always thinking about it, and you covet it, so you hold on to it like you need it, like it's yours, instead of realizing it's his. And why would he tempt you with $1 million? Like, if you're not faithful with little, if you're not faithful in the little things, how can God put you as a steward over big things?
Yeah.
Like, how can he expect you to be faithful with big things? So I think a lot of times, like, if we enter God's will, we won't even ask for certain things because we're so focused on becoming the person that he wants us to be that he will put us over more.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, over people, over just to steward those things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's crazy. That reminded me of a story in the Bible where this Roman centurion came to Jesus,
Uh-huh.
and he asked him to heal his child.
Yeah.
And he said, I have men who answer to me like you do.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a man of authority, and I am too. When I tell my soldiers to go and do this, they do it, and to come and do this, they do it. So I know that you don't even need to come with me. And Jesus said, like, great is your faith, your son is healed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Jesus tends to honor you having a revelation of him.
Yeah.
And he'll move through
Yeah,
that.
and like
revelation.
keep in mind, like, there's so many things you could extrapolate from that story of him just traveling, because he traveled 20 miles on foot by himself through the desert. And so it's like, when you're asking Jesus for something, it can take a while for you to get to that destination to where he answers your prayer. It could be 20 miles walking through the desert by yourself day and night, like, and then he had to walk back. So sometimes Jesus will answer your prayer after you've been faithful with what you have, after you've been like persistent with your decisions. And then once he answers your prayer, sometimes you'll have to realize that it's not exactly what you asked for. It's not exactly, but it is even better. It's more perfect. It's more pleasing.
And that's why it's important to know his will, because then you'll ask the right things. Because, I mean, I personally believe that if you ask and you don't have any revelation, you're not in God's will.
Yeah, it's just vanity.
He's not going to do anything. He's just going to wait for you to grow in the revelation and start asking the right things.
It really matters too, like what your heart, where your heart is. That's what Jesus listens to. It's like you can't just blah blah blah. You can't just like love him with your tongue. You have to actually, your heart has to be in the right position when you're asking for things.
And it's like you seek with all of your heart. If you seek me with all of your heart, you will find me. And like seeking him with all of his heart, like traveling 20 miles. He could have sent someone because he wasn't sure. Just been like, I'll send someone because I don't want to spend I don't want to walk 40 miles for nothing. Because what if he doesn't? All that. Like,
and even when Jesus answered his prayer, right, he didn't see the fruit of it instantly. He had to be faithful and persistent with the answered prayer, and he had to walk 20 miles back in the desert by himself. And so it's like, even when Jesus answers your prayer, he could have maybe in his mind, I don't know, he could have maybe thought like, oh, he might not answer this prayer. He might have walked back all sad, and he did answer it, but I'm not sure. I don't really believe in him, so he might have not even wanted to go back. Or he could have been like, he answered my prayer, and he could have been like running back with joy, with happiness, with faith. So it's like,
and he believed
there's
Jesus.
so many things you
like
can
Jesus.
take from that.
Jesus said, "Your son's healed," and it's like done.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know,
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
It's great.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, a lot of the times too, like the reason, like I could give everyone that's watching this motivation right now, just by this right here. This will give you motivation for the rest of your life right here. Figure out what you really want. Like most of the time, people are motivated to do what they think they have to do, or what they to make money. They're not doing it with motivation, with excitement, with joy, with faith, because they're not doing what they actually want to do. Like if I told you, Caleb, we're gonna go, I don't know, we're gonna go make like we're gonna get 1,000 followers on this podcast.
Okay.
You would be like, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Would you wake up every single morning being like, I can't wait to get 1,000 subscribers on this podcast? Probably not.
No, I just want.
But if I said, Caleb, this podcast, with this podcast, we're gonna get 10 million subscribers. That would be something that compels you. That would be something that you probably, I'm not sure about you, but it might be something that you really want. And so when you have a compelling vision, it's easier to be more motivated. It's easier to be excited about it and to be joyful about it, because it just brings excitement in you, because it's what you really want to do. If you're doing something for, if you're doing something because you think that it's all that you could achieve, there's no excitement in that. There's no joy in that.
And for me, it can be a small thing too. Like for me, I wake up every day and I'm like, oh, I just want to talk to Ezra, and that's enough.
Like seriously, like even as a leader too, you have to give your guys, you have to give your crew like a compelling vision, or else they're not going to be excited to work. They're not going to be joyful. They're not going to be faithful with what they're doing. Like if I told you I'm going to slap you in the face for an hour, and then I'm going to give you $1 million, you would be joyfully suffering in the slapping in the face.
Because
you would be laughing, you'd be happy, then you get the $1 million.
Yeah.
But if I told you I wasn't going to give you, I never told you I was going to give you $1 million, and I just slapped you in the face, you'd be like, what are you doing? And you would probably get angry.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like you had that vision of the $1 million, and so you were able to withstand the pain with joy.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know you were getting $1 million, you would have just been in anger.
If you know your outcome, you'll suffer with joy. Like if you know what you're going after, the pain will be just the price you're willing to pay. Like I'm willing to pay this price because I think what I'm doing, the reward is big enough. And you'll actually put yourself in positions of much greater pain to get there much quicker. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be like, you'll want the failures. You'll want like all the setbacks. You'll want it all. You'll want all the pain.
It's like time traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like getting it all. You're like compressing. Like
And like, I feel like what demotivates a lot of people is thinking like, oh yeah, like this is what I really want, but I probably can't do it because I'm just a normal person. Statistically, I probably can't do it.
Yeah.
That is nothing but a subconscious programming, self-limiting belief. That's all it is. It's just a limiting belief because you've been programmed.
And then how much effort do you think they're actually going to put in? Because I don't know if I'm actually going to get this reward, or I don't even know what I'm trying to do. So it's like, I don't want to spend that much time because I don't want to be let down. And then you'll just half-heartedly do it for a few years.
Yeah.
Instead of like,
Whatever you do it with all your might.
Yeah.
It says in the Bible, whatever you find your hand to do it with all of your might. It says in the Bible.
yeah. Wow.
And like life is just so much better when you're just working towards something that you genuinely want. It gets that simple. Like life is just better when you're doing something to get something you want.
And life is better when you put yourself in positions of pain for growth instead of waiting for life to put you in a position of pain.
Yeah.
It's better to sign up for suffering, because you know where it's going. It's
Yeah.
better for you.
Oh my goodness.
It's better for you to put yourself in that position than for you to wait around and then life puts you in the position and then you're not even prepared
Yeah.
for it. It's just like,
and it's just really funny how like like there are people that work like 9 to 5. They're not really doing what they want. They probably have bigger dreams, but they're just limiting themselves with their own beliefs because they've been programmed. And they'll say stuff like I know a lot of people that say this. They'll be like, money money doesn't matter. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like, I just want to pay my bills and make sure my family is okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but obviously everyone has something that they enjoy doing, that they love doing.
yeah.
And so most of the time they do. And it's like, if money doesn't matter, then why are you spending 8 hours a day working and suffering to make money?
Yeah.
like
it's
you're
better to-
wasting 8 hours a day for money, and you're saying money doesn't matter. It's taking up your entire life.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like
Yeah.
that, I don't know, that gets me so like,
Yeah.
like, because it's like
people,
you're wasting your life. And what I would propose that you do instead is do what you really want to do and make money doing it, and then money really won't matter.
Because if you're working a 9 to 5 somewhere, well, you might even just find a 9 to 5 that doing what you love. Like if you love golfing, but you're not, maybe you're past where you're gonna go pro or you're not just, you don't want to be a professional golfer, but you're working at a warehouse, like making 40,000 a year. Maybe you should go get a job at a golf club and make 30,000 a year starting out, but you get to be around golf. Like there's this guy I went to school with, and he just works at a golf club. He just teaches people golfing skills and stuff because he wants to do that. He probably could make like 20,000 a year more working a job he's uninterested in, but he's doing what he wants to do. So it's like, if money doesn't matter, that's all the reason to make less money doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
If that's how it is.
Yeah.
Or
Because-
just making more money by figuring out a way to monetize what you love, which I haven't done. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I love either. I love what I'm doing, and I love my wife,
Yeah.
and I just want to like grow what I'm growing so that I can spend more time with them. And I feel like business, I don't know, business is just like a perfect indicator of how much you're growing, because the money doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Like if you're growing and getting better, it will reflect like a
Yeah.
1-to-1 ratio. Even if it takes time, like eventually it will show in your business. So it's like a good barometer
Yeah.
of how you're doing.
Yeah, like I had this another crazy realization where it's like God, like we get mad kind of, or maybe we used to, or some people do, where you would have like setbacks in business or something, right? But once you realize like God Himself created the world, it was His creation, right? We create stuff. We created our businesses. He created the world. Like, and this is why I think so many people that like end up becoming really Christian, they start their own business and become an entrepreneur. It's because it's just in their spirit to do it, because they're more connected with God. But God created the world. He created it perfect, right? He created man, woman. It was beautiful. You know, the animals weren't gonna kill you. There was no evil. And then the devil destroyed it. The devil twisted everything.
Well,
It was
the humans twisted it, destroyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But God created the humans. So,
Right.
So the devil himself destroyed God's creative plan, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, as business owners and as business people, we're taking part in that same exact thing. Whenever we create something, it's a pattern that you can see in every single area of life, because it was God created the earth, the devil disrupted it. It's always how it happens. There's creation, and then it comes disruption, always, no matter what you're doing. And so it's like, you shouldn't even get mad when there are setbacks, because it's just the natural process of life. It's the natural process of creating something. There's always going to be disruption. And it's like, God is his creation is constantly being disrupted.
Mm-hmm.
His own creation is being disrupted. So when our creation gets disrupted, we shouldn't be angry. We shouldn't be mad. We shouldn't be frustrated. We should just be faithful like God. We should be more like God. We should be more like Jesus. We should be faithful. We should be loving. We should be persistent and all that good stuff. But yeah. Congratulations.
Someone just broke in the door. But yeah, it's been 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it?
Yeah. Sure.
Sweet. Well, yeah, do better.
Is that not crazy though?
That is so crazy.
Like, I was just like driving. I was like, wow, like people are
Well, yeah,
disrupting
'cause
God's own creation.
You shouldn't be surprised when you face challenges.
Yeah, it's
because,
just a natural pattern.
and usually it just comes from you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And you learn, and then you just won't make the same mistake, or you just need to push through it.
Yeah.
It's just a natural challenge that's always going to come,
Mhm.
and then you just get past it, and then you figure out what caused that challenge, and you just do it differently next time, or you put yourself in a position where that challenge might not
Yeah.
affect you anymore because you're too big for it or whatever. But yeah, that sounds good.
And if you're in a tough place right now, like, but you're striving for your highest potential, and you know that it's gonna make you fulfilled and it's aligned with God, like you are more successful than the multi-billionaire that's depressed, because that's the end for him. If he's got his success and he's unfulfilled, it's like he went so far for unfulfillment. But you're more successful than him because you still have the opportunity to become successful and fulfilled.
Yeah.
So people would kill to be you or me or anybody.
I would kill just to keep being me.
All right, well, I guess we'll wrap up the Wisdom Podcast.
Yeah.
It's nice to talk to you,
Good to talk to you.
Mr. Cox.
Yeah, Mr. Ezra.